Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to my podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Kramer, and this is another episode of The Way Life Ought to Be. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for downloading the podcast. I would ask, first of all, if you could subscribe to this podcast, click the subscribe button and share this with your friends. Please put this on Facebook or other forms of social media, messaging, texting, emails. I just really want this podcast to grow and share some positivity and really help us all become the best versions of ourselves that we are supposed to become. With that being said, let's kick it off. Today's topic is the power of the spoken word. The power of the spoken word. What does it mean to speak? We all have the ability, or almost all of us have the ability, to verbalize our thoughts and speak. And we speak for many different reasons. Sometimes we might speak in order to explain a process like fixing a car or riding a bike, for example, or just a process of how to cook a certain meal or explaining something, or telling someone a story about something that happened in our lives. But oftentimes, because of the way that we are designed in the image of God, I believe, and we are designed to be relational, our speech is used between individuals in order to convey many different emotions, feelings, etc., etc. Sometimes it's really interesting and helpful if you take and you look at the definition of a word and you just try to break it down. It brings things into a much clearer perspective. So, I today am choosing the word encourage, because when we speak, we have the ability to lift people up, to leave them where they're at, essentially, or to bring them down or to be critical. I think it's very, very important that we exercise the art of encouragement whenever possible. So we hear the word encouragement a lot, and we take for granted the literal definition of that word, but are we defining it properly? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the word encourage means to inspirit, hearten, I should say, embolden, means to fill with courage or strength of purpose. Encourage also would suggest the raising of one's confidence, especially by an external agency. We, my friends, are that external agency. So when we see someone and they're going through life and we speak with them, we have an opportunity. We find ourselves at the crossroads all the time, every single day, day in, day out, all year long. Thousands and thousands of opportunities to decide. Do we choose to speak encouragement to this person, or do we not? We have the ability to raise another person's confidence level, to raise their belief in themselves, to galvanize, if you will, their inner belief that they are good and worthy and that they matter. We have that ability. Will we choose to use that ability? It's really interesting because when we see people, we oftentimes we'll have a conversation with them, and I believe that we leave many, many unbelievable opportunities on the road just lying there that we could have spoken into existence. There's so many opportunities that, say that you're at a gas station and you're just buying your gasoline and you're in a hurry and you're just trying to get where you need to get to because this whole life is crazy. It's cray-cray, man. Cray-cray. We're just running in circles. That's what we do. Sometimes it's like we're like a rat in a cage. I believe that was actually an Alice in Chains song. I believe that was part of the lyrics of that song. It does feel like that sometimes. So we're buying gasoline and there's a cashier. We can say, here's my $80 or $50 and walk out the door. Or we can choose to acknowledge that person as a human being and say, hey, how's your Monday treating you? How's it going for you today? Not bad. Have a little bit of conversation and bring some humanity into that situation. Say, hey, thanks for the service. By the way, you're doing a great job. I want you to know that, and I'll be back. So hope you have a great day. Take care. That tiny, seemingly unimportant gold nugget of encouragement will go so far. We have no idea. We don't know where people are at in their life, where they're sitting at that point. You'd really never truly know how much mileage or how much value or how much added hope that little nugget of encouragement could bring to their life, to their day. And by the way, it's not just that person you're encouraging. When you choose to encourage another person, you're technically choosing to encourage all of their loved ones, friends, family, coworkers, etc., future customers, all of them. Because what happens is that word of encouragement that you give to that one person will spread like wildfire. Because it does. They'll go home. They may treat their spouse a little bit better that day. They may treat their children a little bit better because someone took the time to acknowledge them and to say, you matter. You're a human being. You matter. You're not a robot taking $40 for gas. You're working in this building. Yes, it is what you do. You're in this facility. That's what you're doing. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to brass tacks, you are a human being. You are a person. You're not a machine. And I, Wayne Kramer, am going to acknowledge you today for that and let you know that even though you may be having a great day, even though you may be having a terrible day, you matter, man. All right? You matter. That is what it means to use encouragement as a tool to change the world around us. And let me tell you something. It changes you internally as well. It will change who you are. If you are having a hard time with your own confidence or your own ability to see your strengths or have hope, give encouragement. Okay? Give gratitude. Give it away freely. It will come back to you. It will come back to you. It will come back to you. And it will multiply. It really will. We have the ability in speaking to one another to choose to speak life or choose to speak death. In the Bible, it talks about this. The tongue has the power of life and death is one. It also says the words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise will bring healing. So it doesn't say the words of the reckless really aren't that big of a deal. And it's like, hey man, I make a funny joke. We'll all laugh. It'll be great. We'll all laugh. It might be funny at the time. But generally, when you're having a laugh at the expense of someone else, there's a quiet inside world that's not being discussed out loud. There's generally one person in that group that is internalizing some of the pain, and they're carrying that with them, and it's going to take away their hope and their confidence and their courage, and it's going to detract from it. And when they go home later that night, they may think, you know what, I don't know. Some of these jokes might be real. Maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I'm not worth that much. I'm not saying we shouldn't joke, because laughter is a very healing, unbelievable thing. It really is. I mean, laughter is so incredible, but I like to believe that we don't use laughter at the expense of hurting other people. The words can really affect you long term. In fact, a lot of our psychological makeup and the way that we are held together mentally is based on the words that were spoken to us over the course of our life. An example would be if you were a child and you had really critical parents and they kept saying, "You're worthless, you're nothing, you don't matter. Why? You look at you, you are just a loser." Do you know that oftentimes if you talk to someone that is living in a very bad situation, or like a homeless situation, or maybe they have a good career or a good job and they struggle with a vice of some sort. Maybe they drink too much, or maybe they take some type of a mind-altering drug, legal or non-legal. I don't know. I mean, they're not that different in a lot of cases, or the effect actually. Maybe, just maybe, I could hypothesize that someone along the way took the liberty to tell them that they didn't matter, that they weren't going to amount to much, that they were a loser, that they didn't have value. And somewhere along the line, they began to internalize that belief, blend it with their own critical thinking about themselves, which, by the way, as human beings, the most critical person that you will ever face, I believe, is yourself. You'll try to do something, try to step out in a new way and succeed, or look to gain a new goal or a win, but you will oftentimes critically attack yourself. It's just, I think it's just part of our human nature, where we battle ourselves a lot whenever we try to step out. So you combine that with outside spoken words to you, it makes up a whole, the whole, I should say, and it just begins to change how you live, how you breathe, how you view yourself. It's my belief that if we use our opportunities when we meet with other people, or when we just have daily brushes with other people, we don't necessarily even have to have a long conversation with them. Just take a minute and tell them, look, you matter. I don't care what your dad said. I don't care what your mom said. I don't care what your teacher said, or that stupid person in your neighborhood, or someone at your church. I don't care what they said to you. You matter. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what you're doing right now. I don't care what you plan on doing. You matter. It doesn't matter that you're a clerk at a gas station, or you're shoveling cow manure, or you're picking up rocks for a living, or you're a businessman and you make $10 million a year or minute, or a billionaire. Because I can tell you this right now, that the financial gain of an individual does not dictate their belief about themselves. Now, don't get me wrong, it can contribute. For example, if you have a lot of money, you might not have the same stresses or worries or concerns as someone that is struggling financially, but it doesn't make up who you are. It's not the cornerstone of your self-belief. It's money. It's paper. And paper goes away. So really, we don't just need to encourage people that are lower on the totem pole financially or physically or looks-wise or whatever have you. We should always be looking at opportunities to speak encouragement into everyone that we come in contact with. Now, I'm not saying that we can do it perfectly. I mean, you can't just walk around, "You're all amazing. You, sir, are incredible. You, sir." I mean, we could try to do that, actually. It would be quite the world to live in if we did do that. There would be crazy things happening, like people opening doors for people or waiting and allowing them in line first or helping other people. That would be a novel concept, wouldn't it? But I do believe that we have many people that cross our paths and we intersect. So our life is on one trajectory and we're moving through our day, seemingly unimportant. Someone will cross our path. That intersection of paths is where the opportunity lies to make a difference in their life. And I say if because we need to make the decision to encourage that person. And it's easy because when you meet with people, you sometimes see them and you look at how they're dressed, and you look at how they live and what they drive, and you can quickly form an opinion about them as a person and how they would feel inside. I would really, really strongly discourage you from doing that because someone in a three-piece suit driving a Mercedes that has a ton of money could have just left their home and might be in the middle of a divorce, or their child could have died, or they could be struggling financially where you just can't tell from the outside appearance. Conversely, someone that looks like they are broke, driving a crappy car, if you will, could be one of the happiest people you'll ever meet. Or they could be down, or we don't really know where people are at, but if we take the opportunity to grab nuggets and speak life into them and just let it be, man. Let it be. All right? Let it be. The impact it can have on that person and their family and the world around them, their future when they go to bed that night. They may think about what you said because it might be the only positive thing they heard all day. We were at a restaurant earlier this week. I was there with a friend. We were playing darts and whatnot. And there was a young waitress, probably about 25-ish or something, pregnant. And she was talking to someone at her table, very articulate, just a hard-working gal. And I could tell that she sees a task and she takes it seriously and she executes that task and is really effective at being a waitress. So I felt compelled to walk up to her and tell her congratulations on having a baby. First of all, it's best to always hear someone say they're having a baby first before saying anything encouraging about having a baby. That's something I've learned. That's a nugget of wisdom. She was with child. So I said, hey, congratulations. Do you know a boy or girl? And she said, I don't know, which is pretty cool, actually. And I said, I just want you to know that I think you're going to be a great mom. I think you're going to be a really good mom, because I can tell that when you do everything that you're supposed to be doing, you're very efficient at it. And I just want to encourage you. I think you're going to be a really good mom. And I thought about that after, and I thought, I mean, who am I? I mean, what right do I have, man, to say you're going to be a good mom? I'm never going to be a mom. It's impossible. But you know what? I have the right to speak life into a situation that is right in front of me. She's a young gal, hasn't had a baby yet. They were talking, I could hear that's her first child. And I have 4 children, and children are a lot of work. And I just wanted to reassure her. Plant a seed, a nugget. Just a little gold nugget, man. It's a gold nugget of encouragement. So that when the baby's born, anyone listening to this that has children, you're going to understand. When the baby's born and the baby is throwing up on her or keeping her awake all night, or sick or happy or sad or whatever it is, when she's tired and down, she will have some power on her side that says, you are a good mom. A stranger said, you're going to be a great mom. I told her she was going to be a great mom before she even had the baby, which means that I put a belief, I raised her confidence as an external agency. That's who I am, the agency in that situation. And I encouraged her. I emboldened her. I meant to fill her with courage or strength of purpose. I said having a child is one of the most incredible things that she will ever do. She will draw from that. It will be like a well of confidence that will not leave her. You cannot take it away. No matter what someone else says to her over her lifetime or over her parenting lifetime, they are not able to remove that from her spirit, because I chose as an external agency to plant that in her and leave it there. So when someone discourages her or says, you're not a good mom, what kind of a mom are you? Raise your kid right. She will be able to draw the contrast between that comment or encouragement and hopefully at worst balance it out. So as we all fight to get to our goals and aspirations and dreams, I can tell you right now that one of the most effective ways to make a change in the world is to be the change. Grab it. Speak encouragement when they intersect your path. Address the fact that they're a fellow human being and they matter. Take that opportunity, and your life, my friend, will begin to change in ways that you could have never imagined. Never, 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 never imagined. When we speak, we need to speak life. I hope that you have an unbelievable day. And I hope that all of the opportunities that you come across, you grab, you speak life, nuggets of gold, nuggets of positivity, nuggets of hope, nuggets of encouragement, nuggets of their strength of purpose where you can build it up. I hope you galvanize their self-belief that they have value. And it will come back to you. God bless. Have an incredible day. And thank you for tuning in to The Way Life Ought to Be.